Hello everyone. So in this video what we will be doing is we will be learning about JavaScript. It is a short, precise and crash course type of video where we will learn about JavaScript, and it's a perfect video to get you started with hands-on JavaScript and you will get to some level, I can assure you that. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, here is the HTML tags, and there will be having the head and the body. Okay, so now we will have the script tag, and in the script tag we will have alert hello, just to check that our JavaScript is working. So yes, it prints hello. So any script we write over here will be printed over here. So first of all, let's have a header with ID of, let's say, name. Okay, and let's say if, okay, so first of all we will need to grab that. So how we'll do that? Where name equals document dot get element by ID and name. So what this will do, this will grab that ID of name and you can add value over there. So what we'll do is we'll do name dot inner HTML equals Ravi, let's say. So if you run this, let's see, this is not working. Why is it not working? So the reason is we have to give some action, or we have to put it in some thing, but for now what we'll do is we will have a action. Sorry about that. So action will be show name. Okay, so on click we'll have disp, which is our function. Okay, and or else we can also do it this way. Okay, this I will do it as a second step, but I will use this. Okay, don't worry. But first of all, let's do one thing. Put it inside a JavaScript function. Okay, put it inside a JavaScript function. You have that, and you call the JavaScript function over here. Pretty simple. And there is Ravi. It's there, right? So this is there. Now what we can do is we want to add an event. So for this we will need a button, right? So here is our button, show name. You can see that button over here, and when we click on that button you want something to happen. Okay, so let's change it to Ram. Let's refresh. It's Ram. Why is it so? Because it is getting called here, but we don't want to get it called. Okay, so initially there is nothing, but when we click on this it shows Ram. So this is how we use some event. So this is an event of on click. Okay, and when you click that it shows something, right? So we are good with this. So now what we'll be doing is we'll have a form. Okay, this was very basic, very simple. Okay, so now we have a form, and we won't be having action and anything. We will be having input type equals text, and we will have an ID of, let's say, name. and we'll have input type equals submit and ID will be sub. So far good. Okay, so we have an ID of FRM for the form. So this is our form, right? Now what we'll be doing is, when the form gets submitted, first of all let's reload this page. So what we want to initially do is, when the form gets submitted, we want to alert whatever we have written in the form. So how are we going to do that? So we'll do it by using event listeners. So form variable form equals document dot add event listener. Sorry about that. First of all we will need to grab that form, right? So how are we going to do that? That is, either you can do it by document dot get element by ID, but since we have already shown that, so we will be using query selector. It's same purpose. You can use either document dot get element by ID or query selector, anyone, whichever you like. So we have the form. Now what we will be doing is, we have the form and now we'll add event listener. So add event listener. What are we going to add is submit function, and this is our event listener where we will be alerting hello for now, just to check that it is working. But there will be a problem. What is the problem is, whenever you click on submit, the page will reload. Okay, because that's the nature of the submit, okay, in the form. So we don't want that. So we just for now just know this, that with this line, whenever you write it, it will not reload the page after submit. So let's just click on submit and you get hello. So our this listener is working, right? Now what we want to display in the alert is, we want to display the name. So document dot get element by ID, and we are getting the name. And what are we getting? The value. Got it. So now what we'll do is alert, but since I have already shown you alert, I will do console.log name. In that way you will get familiar with console.log. Why console.log is needed is, when you are writing something and you want to check or debug, so console. You can log things and check and debug and all those things. So click F12 and you will land up here. So this is the place where you can use network sources, elements and all these things. But we have the console, right? We have the console. So we will be using the console. That's our motive, right? So we'll be using the console. Just a minute, my mic fell off. Okay, so we are good. Okay, so here is the form. Okay, this is taking whole size. So for now let's just create it big. And okay, so again let's do that, and here we go. So when we submit, after let's say writing my name is Prithviraj and I wrote that, and now submit, you get hello. Why is it so? It's not saved. So now again let's reload the page, write Prithviraj and submit, and there we go, we have console.log. Got it? So we have console.log. So this is done. Okay, so you know now what we'll be doing is, let's just close this. So again I have to open this in big. Okay, so this one is done. Now what I will be doing is we want to add some functionality. Okay, so let's say we are going to do some calculation. Okay, let's say we have a number. Okay, we have a number, and when we submit the form, we want that number. And what are we going to do is we will call calculate square. Simple. And here we'll pass number. Okay, and in our function we are taking a number n. So we are taking a number n, right? We are taking that number, and what we will do is, for now, just alert and see if it works. First of all, let's give 15, submit. It shows 15. That means our function is getting called, right? But we don't want that. What we want is, we want to do something. Okay, what are we going to do? So here we will be having another, and this one's ID will be result. Okay, result, and here we will grab that. How are we going to grab that? Variable res equals document dot get element by ID res. Okay, so we have grabbed that element. Now res dot inner HTML equals, and what are we going to do is, we are going to multiply. So basically it will be n multiplied by n. Let's see what gets output. Okay, why is it getting alert? Okay, I haven't saved it. Let's see again. 5. So it's coming 25. So this is working, right? So this is working fine. Now let's bring it a bit more. Let's just improve our application a bit more. Okay, so now we'll be having principal. So we will create a simple interest calculator, right? So principal rate and time, pretty basic. And what we will do is calculate SI. We will be calling our function. What we will be passing, rather than passing one item, now we have to pass 3 items, right? We have to pass the principal, the rate, and the time. So principal, rate, and time. Great. So now what I will be doing is principal, rate, and time. Here you go. So principal, rate, and time. So we are taking, by the way, these are parameters. Okay, so we are taking principal, rate, and time, and we will be having over here principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time divided by 100. Okay, see, let's see what's coming over here. So this is our principal. So just to understand, give a placeholder principal. Okay, just type it. Placeholder rate placeholder time. Great. So now what we do is we reload. So here you have principal, rate and time. So let's give 1000 rupees at 5% and time, let's say 5 years. Let's calculate. And where is it? Why is it not coming? So let's see. Why is it not coming? We have given the function name wrong. Now let's run 1000, 5 and 5. Submit and you get 250. So this is working, right? So similarly you can create, I will leave that on you. You can create Fahrenheit calculator, Celsius to Fahrenheit. The procedure is the same. Great. Now what we will be doing is, this is done. So what do we do? We just get rid of this, or let's keep that for now. Okay, let's keep that for now. What we will be doing is we will do some simple stuff. Okay, let's just get rid of that. That will keep it simple, otherwise you will be confused. So okay, so what we will be doing here is we have again blank. Okay, so what we will have is, let's say we have a number 5. We have a number 5 and it's stored in a variable x. Okay, so what we do is we put it inside a function of, let's say, call me. That's the function name. Okay, or initial call, that's the initial call function, or let's say main func. Any name you can do. Let me call it main func, main function. Okay, and we are calling this function over here, just to remind you. So what we are doing over here is we are having our variable x. So now one question comes is, just to give you some idea, some places you will see where and some places you will see let. What's the difference? What's the difference? So just to remind you, let's say just forget this for now. Let's say you have where x equals something. Okay, you have declared where equals x equals 5, and inside some local block of code you do console.log x. So you will not get an error. Okay, but or just to sorry about this, let's say you put it here, you do console.log outside. Okay, so console.log is outside and you have x declared as 5 inside the block, and you are using x outside, you are getting correct, not an issue. But let's say the same scenario, you are using x equals 5. This time when you, or let's say this will be y, and you print y outside. Now this will give you, what it will give you? An error. But this will not, no error. Okay, so remember that when you use let, the scope is only limited within that block, but when you use variables, the scope is not limited to that block. If you want to know more about let and see, in some places you will see const. Let's say const pi equals 3.144 something, and now you do pi equals 3, you will get an error because this is constant. Okay, so this is variable let and constant. So if you want to check, so var versus let in JavaScript, and you will get a difference in W3 schools. So if you see here, it is there. Okay, so what's the difference? It will be here only. Okay, so as I have said you, where can be used here, correct, but let cannot be used here. Got it? So it has limitations. Okay, pretty basic. Now what we'll do is we'll do some more thing. We have x equals 5, and what we'll do is document dot get element by id res dot inner HTML equals x. So let's just run this, and you get 5, which is correct. But now what we'll do is we'll see if else statement. So let's say if x is greater than, let's say, 10, we'll have variable, let's say a equals greater than, just a minute, greater than 5. Else where a equals less than 5, and so this is greater than 5, this is greater than, yes, let me look, this is greater than 10 actually, and this is less than 10. So now I know that x equals 5, and now 5 is obviously less than 10, so this should be the answer. So we are printing a, and this should be less than 10. So this is conditional statement, which is if else. Now what we will do is we will use something called, you can just change this, I think that's called ternary, or yes, that's ternary. Okay, ternary statement or ternary operator, whatever. So what it's called is, we'll do this same thing, but just one thing, you can also comment out. Okay, so in that way I will just show you comment as well. So you can comment out this thing. So you have commented out this thing. Okay, this is how comment works. You can also comment a single line by like this. Okay, now where a equals a, variable a equals x equals, if x is greater than 10, then then what we will be doing is greater than 10, else less than 10. So even this will give you the same result. See, no changes. Just to, so that you are aware, let me give one like this, so that, yeah, so you see both this is big one, this is conditional statement, this is one line, but both provides the same result, right? So either way you can use that. Okay, now what I will do is for loop, int I equals 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, and inside this for loop inside this for loop, what we will do is we will print hello and then plus, and I believe that will be inside this. Let me just int, oh sorry about that, var, that's Java. Okay, and okay, now why is it getting printed once? Okay, so we'll give plus equals, now it should print 10 times. So this loop is running 10 times. Okay, so this loop is running 10 times, and this is how you write a for loop. Now let's say you have an array. Okay, so where you have an array, new array, and you have values, let's say mango, banana and papaya. Okay, and a dot sort. Okay, and then you, what you do is console.log a. Let's see what comes. Array is not defined. Why is it so? I believe this actually uncaught token. Let me check. Array in JavaScript. You can write either ways. You write it in this way also, and you can also write it as new. So you can write it like this. I had run correctly. Okay, this will be A. So let's run it again. So you have the array, right? You have the array. So you can always refer like this in just in case there is syntax, because every language has some syntax here and there. Okay, so this is the array.